If they play dirty, it is not because they are strong, it is because they are afraid of your potential. You have already felt it. The subtle manipulation, the veiled attacks, the smiles that hide traps. And maybe you asked yourself in silence why some people always seem to win without ever fighting clean. This video is not about becoming cruel, it is about becoming lucid. It is about understanding the hidden mechanics of power, influence, and psychological warfare that shape human relationships. Long before our time, certain thinkers understood that morality without awareness leads to domination. Today, you will begin to see what most refuse to look at, not to imitate the dirty game, but to outsmart it mentally. Comment the phrase, "I choose clarity," if you are ready to see beyond appearances. Like this video, subscribe, and stay until the end, because the final truth may quietly change how you protect yourself forever. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli observed something most people still deny today. Human beings rarely act according to virtue when power, fear, or survival is at stake. In a fractured Italy ruled by intrigue, betrayal, and shifting alliances, he understood that moral ideals collapse the moment reality turns hostile. His work was not a celebration of cruelty, but a diagnosis of human nature stripped of illusion. Over time, this knowledge was demonized, misunderstood, or buried under comforting philosophies that promised fairness in an unfair world. Yet the wounds of our era, manipulation, gaslighting, silent competition, psychological domination, are the same wounds Machiavelli described. What was hidden was never evil. It was uncomfortable. And discomfort is what forces you to grow or to be ruled by those who already understand these laws. When people play dirty with you, the first mistake you are tempted to make is moral outrage. You feel shocked, betrayed, indignant. You tell yourself this should not happen, that it is unfair that they crossed a line, and in that exact moment you have already lost ground mentally. Not because you are weak, but because you expected the world to respect rules it never agreed to follow. The dirty game always begins in your expectations. You expect honesty, reciprocity, transparency. They expect advantage. This asymmetry is where manipulation is born. The first psychological trick is understanding that most conflict is not about truth, but about control of perception. People who play dirty rarely confront you directly. They reshape the narrative around you. They distort facts, omit details, exaggerate emotions, and repeat subtle suggestions until others see you through a lens you did not choose. If you try to defend yourself too quickly, you confirm their frame. Silence at the right moment is not weakness. It is a refusal to validate a false reality. The mind of your opponent feeds on reaction, starve it, and it collapses. The second trick is recognizing that guilt is one of the most powerful weapons ever invented. Those who play dirty know how to trigger your conscience. They imply you are selfish, cold, disloyal, or ungrateful, even when you are simply protecting yourself. They weaponize your empathy. They rely on the fact that you want to be seen as good. The mental outsmarting happens when you understand this. Guilt is not a moral compass. It is a social lever. Before accepting guilt, you must ask one question internally: who benefits if I feel bad right now? The answer often reveals everything. The third mechanism is strategic unpredictability. Dirty players thrive on knowing your patterns. They know how you react when pressured, how you apologize, how you justify yourself, how you try to fix things. Once your reactions are predictable, you are controllable. Mental superiority is not about being aggressive, it is about being unreadable. When you stop reacting the way people expect, their tactics lose precision. A delayed response, a neutral tone, a refusal to explain yourself excessively, these small shifts create psychological discomfort in those who rely on manipulation. The fourth trick is understanding that power rarely announces itself loudly. It hides behind competence, calm, and detachment. People who play dirty often provoke emotional chaos to drag you into their terrain. If you fight emotionally, you fight on their ground. Mental outsmarting requires a different battlefield. You respond with structure, not emotion. You respond with clarity, not justification. You respond with boundaries, not explanations. Every time you choose clarity over emotional discharge, you shift the balance of power without saying a word. The fifth trick is reframing conflict as information. When someone attacks you unfairly, lies about you, or manipulates a situation, they are revealing their strategy. Most people only see the pain. You must see the pattern. What do they want? What are they afraid of losing? What reaction are they trying to provoke? The moment you stop asking, "Why are they doing this to me?" and start asking, "What does this tell me about them?" you regain mental altitude. From above, their moves look smaller, slower, and predictable. Another crucial mechanism is the illusion of urgency. Dirty tactics often create artificial time pressure. They demand immediate answers, immediate apologies, immediate decisions. Urgency bypasses reflection. It forces you to act emotionally. The mentally dominant individual resists urgency unless it is real. You take time, you pause, you say you will think. This alone frustrates manipulative minds because it breaks momentum. Time is not neutral. Time favors the one who can wait. There is also the subtle art of selective visibility. Not everything you know must be revealed. Not every intention must be shared. People who play dirty collect information to use later. Oversharing is a form of self-sabotage in hostile environments. Mental outsmarting means choosing what stays private. Mystery is not deception. It is self-protection. When people know less about your fears, plans, and emotional triggers, they lose leverage. Another psychological truth most people ignore is this: dirty players often provoke to test your boundaries. They cross small lines first. A comment, a joke, a slight disrespect. If you tolerate it, they escalate. Silence can sometimes be strategic, but silence without internal clarity becomes permission. Outsmarting mentally means knowing when to respond and when not to. A calm, firm boundary stated once is more powerful than endless emotional explanations. You do not negotiate your self-respect. There is also a deeper layer. People who manipulate often believe others think like them. They assume everyone lies, everyone plays games, everyone seeks advantage. This projection is their blind spot. When you understand this, you stop taking their behavior personally. You see it as a worldview, not a verdict on your worth. This mental shift alone protects your identity from erosion. The final mechanism in this first part is detachment from outcome. Dirty players rely on your attachment to being liked, validated, or victorious. When your sense of self depends on winning every interaction, you are easy to control. When your self-worth is internal, you become dangerous in silence. You can walk away. You can let them think they won. You can choose long-term position over short-term ego. And this is what truly unsettles those who play dirty. They cannot manipulate someone who does not need their approval. This is only the surface. You are beginning to see that mental outsmarting is not about domination, but about sovereignty. In the next part, we will go deeper into the paradoxes, the hidden traps of ego, and the illusions that make intelligent people fall into psychological ambushes without realizing it. Now we enter the zone where most people fail, not because they are unintelligent, but because they are unconscious of their own inner traps. Outsmarting someone who plays dirty is not primarily about understanding them. It is about mastering what gets activated inside you when they do. This is where the ego becomes both your greatest vulnerability and your greatest weapon. The first paradox you must face is this: the more intelligent you are, the easier you can be manipulated if your ego is unchecked. Intelligent people often believe they can explain, clarify, and reason their way out of any situation. They trust logic, they trust dialogue, they trust mutual understanding. Dirty players exploit this. They drag you into endless conversations, debates, and justifications, not to reach truth, but to exhaust you and reshape reality. The ego loves to be right. The ego wants to be understood. And this desire quietly keeps you trapped in their game. Mental superiority sometimes means refusing to prove anything at all. Another hidden trap is the illusion of moral superiority. You may think, I would never do what they do, and that may be true, but believing this makes you predictable. When you see yourself as morally above the game, you unconsciously disarm yourself. You assume certain lines will not be crossed. Dirty players do not share this assumption. They rely on your reluctance to think strategically because you confuse strategy with immorality. This is one of the deepest illusions of modern thinking, that awareness of power dynamics somehow makes you corrupt. In reality, ignorance makes you exploitable. There is also the trap of emotional righteousness. When someone wrongs you, your anger feels justified, and it often is. But justified emotion is still emotion. It narrows perception. It accelerates reactions. It makes you visible. Dirty players are experts at provoking justified anger because it blinds you while making you feel morally clean. The moment you feel right, you stop being strategic. Mental outsmarting does not require suppressing emotion, but postponing its expression until it no longer controls your behavior. Another advanced concept is the asymmetry of investment. Dirty players often invest very little emotionally while pushing you to invest a lot. They escalate drama, then detach. They create confusion, then disappear. You replay conversations, analyze motives, lose sleep. They move on. The imbalance drains you. Outsmarting mentally means recognizing when you are investing energy into someone who is not reciprocating attention, respect, or accountability. Withdrawal of energy is one of the most powerful silent moves you can make. It deprives them of relevance. There is a lesser-known psychological mechanism called identity erosion. When manipulation persists over time, it slowly reshapes how you see yourself. You begin to doubt your memory, your intentions, your worth. You ask yourself if you are too sensitive, too rigid, too difficult. This is not accidental, it is a strategy. The moment you internalize their narrative, you become easier to control. Mental defense here is remembering that confusion is often a signal, not a flaw. Clear minds do not feel chronically disoriented around healthy people. Another illusion is the belief that exposing a dirty player will automatically bring justice. You imagine that if others only knew the truth, everything would be resolved. Sometimes this happens, often it does not. Dirty players prepare for exposure. They pre-frame you as unstable, vindictive, or dramatic long before you speak. When you reveal everything emotionally, you often validate the image they planted. Outsmarting mentally means understanding timing. Not every truth must be spoken immediately. Some truths work better when actions, not words, reveal them. Let us talk about desire, because desire is where manipulation feeds. You desire recognition. You desire belonging. You desire peace. Dirty players identify this and insert themselves between you and what you want. They become the gatekeeper. Approval becomes conditional. Affection becomes transactional. Stability becomes uncertain. The more you chase resolution, the more leverage they gain. The paradox is brutal. The less you need what they control, the more power you reclaim. This is not detachment as coldness. It is detachment as freedom. There is also the modern illusion of transparency. You are told that honesty solves everything, that expressing your feelings is always healthy, that vulnerability always creates connection. In safe relationships, this is true. In hostile environments, it is dangerous. Vulnerability without discernment becomes ammunition. Outsmarting mentally means choosing when and with whom you lower your guard. Strength is not never opening up. Strength is knowing when not to. Another advanced layer is the conflict between image and essence. Dirty players obsess over how they are perceived. They curate impressions. They manage appearances. If you attack their image directly, they retaliate viciously. But if you quietly strengthen your essence, your competence, your independence, your stability, you become untouchable. People begin to see through contrast, not confrontation. This is slower but infinitely more effective. True power does not argue with illusions, it outgrows them. You must also understand the ego's addiction to closure. You want explanations, you want apologies, you want clarity. Dirty players weaponize this by offering partial truths, mixed signals, and unresolved tension. You keep engaging because you want the story to make sense. Outsmarting mentally means accepting that some stories never resolve cleanly. Closure is sometimes a decision, not an event. When you stop seeking answers from those who benefit from your confusion, peace returns quietly. There is a final paradox that few are ready to face. Sometimes the dirty player is not your enemy, but your teacher. Not because they are good, but because they reveal where you still seek external validation, where you fear abandonment, where you avoid asserting boundaries. This does not justify their behavior. It extracts value from the experience. When you learn this, you stop feeling victimized by every encounter. You become a strategist of your own growth. What emerges from all this is a different kind of strength. Not loud, not aggressive, but anchored. You begin to see moves before they are made. You feel less reactive, less eager to prove, less dependent on outcomes. And this is where the balance of power permanently shifts. Because those who play dirty rely on emotional noise, ego hooks, and unconscious reflexes. When those disappear, they are left playing alone. In the next section, we will move from understanding to embodiment, from insight to action. Because knowledge that stays in the mind but never enters behavior is just another illusion. And this time, we will talk about how to apply this awareness in daily life without becoming cold, paranoid, or disconnected from your humanity. Understanding these dynamics changes nothing if it does not alter how you move, think, and respond in real situations. The first practical shift is internal discipline. When something triggers you, do not ask yourself how to respond. Ask yourself what is being activated. Is it fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood, or fear of losing control? Naming the trigger immediately creates distance between you and the impulse. This pause, even if it lasts only a few seconds, is already a form of mental superiority. You are no longer reacting blindly, you are choosing. The second application is mastering response timing. You do not owe anyone immediate access to your emotions or decisions. When pressured, practice neutral delay. Simple phrases like, "I need time to think," or "I will get back to you," protect your mental space without aggression. This breaks the illusion of urgency and prevents emotional hijacking. Over time, people learn that you cannot be rushed, and manipulators lose interest when speed no longer works. The third practice is emotional minimalism. This does not mean suppressing feelings, it means being selective with expression. In environments where people play dirty, reduce emotional visibility, share less frustration, less doubt, less enthusiasm, not because emotions are weak, but because information is power. Keep a private space, journaling, solitude, or trusted allies, where emotions can be processed safely. Public emotional exposure should be intentional, not reflexive. Another concrete technique is boundary compression. Instead of long explanations, use short, clear statements. One sentence, calm tone, no justification. Boundaries weaken when you over-explain because explanation invites negotiation. A boundary is not an argument, it is a declaration. The more neutral and brief you are, the harder it is to manipulate you without revealing hostility. There is also the practice of strategic disengagement. Not every provocation deserves a response. Learn to distinguish between attacks that require a boundary and attacks that feed on attention. Silence, when chosen consciously, sends a powerful signal. You are not available for psychological games. Disengagement is not avoidance, it is resource management. Your energy is finite. Spend it where growth exists. Another essential exercise is narrative sovereignty. After a dirty interaction, write down what actually happened without interpretation, facts only, words spoken, actions taken. This grounds you in reality and protects against gaslighting and self-doubt. Then write a second version, what you learned about the other person's strategy. This turns confusion into intelligence. Over time, your confidence grows not from dominance but from clarity. You must also train non-reactive presence. This is subtle but powerful. When confronted, slow your breathing, relax your face, soften your gaze. People expect tension, defensiveness, or justification. Calm presence destabilizes manipulative behavior because it offers nothing to grab. This is not passivity, it is control of your nervous system, and the nervous system is where most battles are lost. Another practical shift is redefining victory. If your definition of winning is being right, being liked, or being understood, you will keep engaging in losing games. Redefine victory as self-respect preserved, energy protected, and direction maintained. Sometimes walking away quietly is the highest form of success. The ego may resist this, but peace will confirm it later. You should also audit your environment. Notice patterns: who leaves you drained, who creates confusion, who respects your time and boundaries. You do not need dramatic confrontations to change your life. Gradual distance is often more effective. Reduce exposure, reduce access, increase neutrality. This reshapes power dynamics without conflict. A crucial daily ritual is reflection without self-blame. At the end of the day, ask yourself, where did I react instead of choose? Where did I explain instead of state? Where did I seek validation instead of grounding myself? This is not to judge yourself, but to train awareness. Awareness compounds faster than force. There will be moments when you fail. You will react emotionally. You will over-explain. You will get pulled into games. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. The goal is not perfection, but faster recovery. Each time you recognize the pattern sooner, your power increases. Finally, remember this. Outsmarting mentally is not about becoming cold, suspicious, or disconnected. It is about becoming internally anchored. When your sense of worth is no longer negotiated externally, dirty tactics lose their grip. You remain kind but not naive, open but not exposed, calm but not passive. And this balance, rare, quiet, and unprovable, is what truly protects you in a world where not everyone plays fair. If there is one truth to carry with you from this journey, it is this: those who play dirty do not win because they are smarter, but because they operate where others remain unconscious. The moment you see the game clearly, it begins to lose its power over you. You no longer confuse manipulation with strength, urgency with importance, or guilt with morality. You understand that real control is internal, silent, and rarely visible to those who seek domination. You stop reacting to noise and start moving with intention. You protect your energy, your time, and your sense of self, not through aggression but through clarity. You now know that mental outsmarting is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to yourself, fully awake. It is about recognizing when your ego wants to prove, explain, or win, and choosing instead to preserve your sovereignty. It is about understanding that not every battle deserves your presence, and not every truth needs your voice to be known. Some truths reveal themselves only when you step back and let reality unfold without interference. As you move forward, you will notice something subtle but profound. The people who once tried to control you will either retreat, escalate, or expose themselves. None of these outcomes are your responsibility. Your only task is to remain grounded, lucid, and aligned with your values. Power that is borrowed from reaction fades quickly. Power that comes from self-mastery endures. So ask yourself this, honestly and without fear: where in your life are you still playing by rules that others quietly ignore? And more importantly, what would change if you stopped trying to be understood and started focusing on being internally free? Sit with that question. Let it work on you. If this message resonated, let it be a sign that you are ready for a deeper level of awareness. Leave a comment with what struck you most, like this video if it helped you see more clearly, and subscribe if you want to continue exploring the hidden mechanics of the mind. Because once you see how the game works, you never have to play it the same way again.